I know. Hey everybody, welcome to Friday PoliTarology with me and Sherry. It's just us girls tonight, and we're going to have a lot of fun. There was a lot of very interesting things in the news today, and I have not a lot of questions, but a lot of data for each of my questions. So, Sherry, tell us how you are before we get into the questions. How's things going with you?
I'm doing fine. I had a little stomach virus thing last weekend. I wound up taking a day off from work just to let it run its course, but I feel fine now. And just same old, same old. I'm regular Wednesday nights, every other Thursday night, Friday nights. If I'm not doing this on the first Friday of the month, then on Friday nights I'm either backstage for you or backstage for Arthur. Because y'all do, I think, opposite nights and or opposite weeks, whatever you want to call it, and just whatever.
Good.
I got a new girl coming on tomorrow afternoon. Her name's Francine. Purple Moon Tarot is the name of her channel, and she's like really, really, really new. And so I invited her to come on and kind of get a few eyes on her and get her a little bit of exposure. See if we can't get her up and running a little bit.
Oh, that's
And
fantastic.
she seems really nice. And of course, the slumber party every Saturday night.
Yep.
And Ramon will be with me this week. So
very nice. Very nice. Well, once I get myself settled in my brain, I'll have to come and join you on the slumber party. But right now, it's just
absolutely.
Oh, it's too much.
Yeah, because we don't start till 10 o'clock at night. That would be 11 o'clock your time. So
yeah. And I got to get up so early, almost every day. And so I'm 6 weeks into my new job. I'm finally starting to feel like maybe I can actually do this job.
Of course you can do it.
Yeah, they wouldn't have hired me if I couldn't. Yeah, I already got the job. But I was looking at the statistics for everybody, how many tickets they're handling. And I really thought I was going to be bottom of the barrel. And I'm not. I'm closer to the top than most. So I was like, what? Ooh. Are they just like sitting back and letting me do them? Or what are they? I don't know. But I was like, that's crazy. So, and you know, I'm a person that when I go to do something, I commit. I am not namby-pamby. I'm not just a little bit. I'm there. So, you know, I've made some big bonehead mistakes because I really commit to things. But, you know, that's the best way to learn, you know, is to make mistakes. So that's the way I look at
absolutely.
it. Hopefully I'll still have a job another 6 weeks from now and they agree with me.
You are. You're going to be fine.
I think so. I got some good readings on it. And yeah, I think it's going to be good. So I went searching through the news today on my lunch hour. And then I did it again right after I got off work because, you know, stuff changes. And what a lot of interesting stuff has come out today. So at the top of my list is something that maybe people are not that worried about anymore. And we do read about it a lot, but I'd just like to try to do a quick reading on it, is Trump's confused rants. How bad is his brain? You know, I listened to a few different people talking about what he does that just really is convincing as to him having dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever he has, right? So
I watched my mother with dementia for 10 years, and he is following the playbook.
The playbook, right? The complete pattern. I know. And he has been, in my opinion, since his first administration. You could see the signs. You could see the signs. I have also, not only have I seen dementia up close and personal, but I've seen psychosis up close and personal. You know, people who have, you know, various psychoses, right? And that lead, though, in their case, the psychoses led to psychotic breaks, multiple psychotic breaks in their life. So I've seen it, you know, not a whole lot of people, but several people in my life that just really suffered from these things. And he is, I can't believe since 2015, he has not had at least a couple of psychotic breaks. I'm just going to say it. And it's my opinion. YouTube, don't shut me down. I'm just blabbing. I'm a
Entertainment purposes only.
Yes, it's entertainment purposes only. I'm a YouTube tarot reader, for God's sake.
We're
Please
two
don't
silver-haired witches. Leave us alone.
yeah. So this one person, I don't remember which article this was, of course, but they were focusing on the word confabulation. Confabulation. And they were saying that we're going to hear that word a lot because this is what he's doing. And it's kind of a catch-all phrase for all the mistakes that you hear and all his stumbling over. Like, basically, it's when you remember things wrongly, but in tremendous detail. You have tremendous detail about these things. And so you're kind of convincing everybody that what you're saying is true.
Right.
The thing that is really convincing is that he has terrible difficulty with mathematical concepts. Like, how many times have we heard, oh yeah, 800% this or 1000%? Percent means per 100. You can't have more than 100%. And yet he's saying it straight faced and about a lot of different economical things. Now, he went to Wharton School of Business. The man ought to know a little bit about economy, not the whole thing. Like, AOC has a degree in economy. She's amazing. And you know, Elizabeth Warren is really great with this. And what's the woman who studied with Elizabeth Warren who wants to run for governor of California?
Katie Porter.
Fabulous.
I have really strong feelings about her.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I'm getting really good vibes from her.
But so the other thing is... Did you see
Kamala? Did you see our
Yes, we're going to get to that.
Lotus? Okay.
Yeah. So, but also he conflates past events by incorrectly remembering dates. Like that thing with his uncle and the Unabomber. He was talking about his uncle died 11 years before the Unabomber was known as the Unabomber. And the Unabomber didn't go to MIT. I think he went to Harvard. So, like, these things are just, he's a dead ringer for dementia. And dementia and Alzheimer's kind of go together a lot of times. And it runs.
Well, Alzheimer's is a form of dementia. It's one of the many forms of dementia.
Okay.
Alzheimer's, there's usually more like chemical imbalances and whatnot.
Okay.
And then there are other types of dementia. Like my mother had cerebral atrophy. Her brain was literally shriveling up inside of her skull. Mm-hmm. And as different sections would shrivel, she would lose whatever it was that section operated.
Yes.
Like Monday she could blow her nose and Tuesday she couldn't.
Yeah, like my father, I think, must have had that because he had the thing where, you know, one day he could read and write and one day he couldn't. And it just happened like that, you know, and it really upset him because he loved. She would go in stages. She would kind of like float along at this level and then boom, she'd have a drop, you know, where like another section shriveled. And then she'd cruise along for a while and then she'd drop again. Yeah. And it got to where she became afraid to go to sleep. For about a year and a half. It was a fight to get her to go to sleep because she was petrified that when she woke up in the morning, she wouldn't remember as much as she remembered before she went to sleep. And a lot of times that happened, you know. I mean, it was scary. I mean, it was hard. I mean, at the time we didn't really see the major differences because you're with her day to day. And so it kind of all blends in together. Mm-hmm. But now I can go back and think about it and I can literally pinpoint when she started hitting each drop off, you know, because in hindsight, go back and look it's a horrible way to have to go, you know, I mean. It is. Oh, Jesus, excuse me. My
52 card pickup?
No. I have a giant mouse that's an ergonomic mouse, and it really gets in my way, but I love it, and I knocked it over. So let me grab it.
Oh.
So, well.
You're pulling a Sherry. Okay, that's all right.
Oh, yeah, it's catching.
I knock things over all the time.
So what I want to read on real quick is, where's my cards? Here we go. Is this going to be what Vance and them use as an excuse for pushing him aside? you know, his diminished capacity. We'll just say it like
Yeah.
that.
Are they gonna Amendment 25 them?
Yeah, basically. But I don't even
Okay.
think they'd take the trouble of doing the Amendment 25 because he's got so many diehards in his cabinet that don't like Vance. Like
Yeah.
Stephen Miller hates him. And
Yeah.
Stephen Miller is running a lot of the show. Maybe not 100%, but he is running a lot of the show.
He's probably running a good 80%.
Right. And so, you know, even though Besant doesn't like Stephen Miller, he's going to side with Stephen Miller over Vance because Besant does not like Vance either. So it would be hard for him to do the whole 25th Amendment thing. So, hi, Connie B. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you all for being here. It's just so nice. We got 127 people right now. That's a beautiful thing. And you're all taking time out to listen to me and Sherry Jaw about these political things. I love it. All right. So
yes,
are they going to be able to use this diminished capacity as an excuse to pull him aside? I don't think it will be what pulls him out of there, but will they be able to use it as an excuse to try?
You know, I guess it's been about 2 months now. Nate, the third wish, and I get together twice a month. And once a month is on my channel, once a month on his channel. And we did a deep dive, and he asked me to see if I could tap into Trump's brain.
Oh yeah.
And I had never done that before. I wound up like almost like a remote view. It was like I went to peak and went vroom right down. It was
nice
as hell. It had never happened. That was a first for me. And it was like, this guy's brain is scary, like squirrely scary. It's like, it was like I could see his thoughts just like they were attacking each other, you know? And it was really frightening just to look at it from that perspective, you know, like I'm just sitting and watching what's going on in his brain is how it was what it felt like. And it was just really weird because there was no connection to anything. It was just like whatever thing shot out the hardest, that's what he would say, you know, and then something else would shoot out and that's what he would do. And it was weird. And then he repeats a lot of his stuff.
Yep.
But he'll rephrase it like he's saying something new. When he's not. He's just repeating the same concept. Whatever's stuck in his head, that's what he'll repeat over and over and over again.
Well, don't you think it's kind of like a script? Like he did TV for a really long time, so he's got these certain phrases that are like a script, and it's, you know, like the phrase "you're fired." That's part of the script, right? Russia hoax. It's part of the script. Now it's the Epstein hoax. You know, the thing with Hillary. You know,
buying the groceries. When he discovered the word groceries, he used it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I see that. And I think that his diminished capacity does not allow him to do much more than that. I think that's all he really has upstairs. And so, you know, God help us.
That
and Stephen Miller run things.
I don't know if it's his hearing is going bad or if it's just his brain glitching and he's just not understanding what people ask him. But there's been quite a few times here in the last maybe 2 months where he gets asked a question and he's like off in left field answering it, thinking he's answering the question when that's not what the person asked at all, you know. But you can see where he could conflate that with something else. And so, oh, thanks, Dina. That's sweet.
Wasn't that nice?
Y'all be sure you give Colleen bunches of super chats tonight.
That's nice.
And,
well, and I think that it's a little bit of the hearing too. I think it's mostly the brain, but I think it's the hearing too. And don't you think when someone starts to get into that dementia state, because I remember this from my dad, sometimes they'd rather just listen to what's going on in their brain than engage with other humans because it's too hard. It's just too hard. Yeah, I know.
And what's bad is you see them struggle because at least this is the way it was with my mom, is I would see her get so frustrated because she would know that she wasn't making sense, because people would have this kind of blank look on their face when she would try to talk to them. And it was frustrating for her, but that was, her brain couldn't put the right wording, the right sentences, the right phrases together to follow a cohesive pattern.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
would start out talking about drinking a cup of coffee, and by the end of the sentence, it was something at the store, and then the cat litter box, and then it was like she would jump all over the place because she would just lose context of what she was talking about. And
Yeah.
I see that in him a lot too. It's like he completely, it's worse than just squirrel, because we all do that all the time. I know I do, but it's like it's gone beyond that of just getting distracted by something else. It's like his brain he jumps all over the place. But there'll be a key concept or word that he's circling around that he'll keep repeating.
Yeah.
Um,
I have
oh,
said,
happy birthday, Brian!
happy
Yeah,
birthday. I have said, and you've heard me say this on the show. I think it's extremely sad. I
it
don't
is.
I don't think that his handlers, if he has handlers, I don't think they should have let him run the second time, because he was so
No,
ill. I mean, part of his anger, I think, is that he's out of control. He can't
yeah,
control his thoughts, what he's saying, what's going on, his bowels. I mean, he can't control a lot of things. And
he
it's
can't
kind of,
control his emotions. Nothing.
yeah,
He's just and he gets really angry over stupid, silly little things that
yeah,
most people, it would just fly right by him and they wouldn't even catch it. But
right,
he is like, his brain will grab hold of that, and then that's all he can focus on.
yeah,
And what's scary is that he's got these people that are listening to what he's saying and then reacting on that. And it's like, no, y'all can't do that. You need to be able to be the adult in the room and say, Mr. President, we can't do that.
yeah. But he won't
And you
listen
don't know how hard it is for me to say that word in context to him of
to
Mr. President.
Well, I did
My
throw some,
brain wants to glitch, but
right. I did throw some cards on this, and without going through each and every card, I just got to say, yes, Vance is going to try this. It won't be successful, but he's going to try it, and
oh yeah.
it'll build momentum somewhat. And it's just going to be kind of another nail in the coffin for Vance, because Vance is not doing too well. But I don't want to read on Vance tonight. We've read on Vance before on this, and we know that this is
Okay.
just a fool's errand. What do you have with him?
Well, I started out, I got the Ten of Cups reversed.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're talking about domestic disputes, family breakdown. It's like he's not able to piece things together. His
Mm-hmm.
wife isn't there. I heard a rumor yesterday that he got mad at her and kicked her out of the White House. Don't know if that's true
Wait,
or not, but
Vance or Trump?
no, Trump kicked Melania
Oh,
out of the
that
White
Melania.
House. So
That Melania is not Melania. I saw a picture of her the other day, and that's
yeah,
not.
no, that's a fill in.
Yeah.
But then I drew the Nine of Cups. And so you're talking about someone that's wanting to stay living in the lap of luxury, because that's all he's ever known.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't seem to understand that he's blowing through money like a drunken sailor. No offense to drunken sailors. I was married to one. So, he wasn't drunk anymore, but he was a ex-sailor and he used to drink. So, but then I pull the Nine of Pentacles reverse, which is again living beyond his means. He's got, he just arranged to spend, what is it, $300 million or some such nonsense to build a new state banquet room that will seat 600
ballroom.
plus people,
A ballroom.
the ballroom. But yet we don't have money to feed hungry kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's
like,
right.
make that make sense, and instead of his people saying, well, let us look into it and get some estimates on it, and let's get you the best deal for that, and dragging it out, they're like, oh yeah, let's go do that. So it's like, okay, what are you getting out of it?
Yeah, what it
That you,
makes you wonder what are they planning? Because it's not going to be done pretty much until the end of his term. So that means that
right.
I think he's never leaving.
Yeah, he would never be able to use it anyway. And I ended up with the Ace of Wands.
Yeah.
So whoever it is that's kind of pushing him along is
I'm sorry,
looking
I had
at,
a bug.
that's okay. Whatever it is that's pushing him along is that's somebody behind him pushing him.
Yeah.
And I have
Okay.
a strong feeling it is Stephen Miller,
Wait, who's they're pushing Vance? I missed it because of the bug. What
no,
did you say?
they're pushing Trump. It's like he'll have a thought, oh, we need to expand the ballroom. It needs to be bigger. Oh my God, if you look at the pictures of what their concept is,
Oh, it's like
it makes Louis the 14th extravaganza look like a hovel. It's so gaudy and gold. It's just like, oh my God, please let's not waste our money on that. But
well, if they
I feel
hired
like,
a really good designer, and I would say, oh, you're improving the White House, great, but I don't get why they need something quite that big. I mean, how do you handle security in the White House for that many people? That's really
like I said, who's making money off of this? Somebody behind the scenes is pushing this because they're getting ready to make a big score.
and all Trump hears is it's going to be just like Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago doesn't seat 600 people, I don't think.
No, and it's a dump. I mean, I've seen pictures of it on the inside. It's gaudy and tacky.
I mean, I think at most that room is maybe 150 people or something at most, and that's being very generous. Most of the pictures I've seen, it looks like maybe 75 people it'll seat. I don't know.
I keep dropping cards.
Yeah. Here,
oh yeah.
This is a good suggestion.
Assistance and help. That's what I got. That's what came out. Tornado winds. Business tycoon. Okay, so yeah, this is somebody. They're trying to just get as much off of him and out of him as they can before he completely go and is no more. And I hold his family responsible because at this point, if they truly cared about him in any semblance whatsoever, they would be stepping in and saying, no, my father can't be doing this anymore. We need to, I mean, they would have stopped him from running to begin with, but you've got to stop and think about what are they going to get out of it,
Here we go. Brian figured it out. He needs another ballroom for more classified documents. So
the toilet was too full.
This is where the archive is going to go, is in that ballroom. Of course, I dropped a card. I got to
that's pretty. I just dropped some of mine too. So
Isn't that great? Isn't that great?
That's brilliant, Brian. That is brilliant.
That's that birthday energy working. That's great. That's wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, like Carol said, all set to launder money to his benefactors.
Yeah,
that's what I said. Who's getting money? Who's the one that's going to be getting money?
He's just not thinking. If he was really, I don't know. He doesn't care about the law. It doesn't matter. I'm not even going to say it. All right. So the next thing that I had was the shootings, brawls, and burning. So the country's displaying increasingly violent behavior all over the place. There's very weird stuff going on. I mean, in addition to the ICE beatings and arrests and deportation stuff, there is just regular American citizens doing weird shit. So, for instance, in Virginia, a councilman was doused with gasoline and set on fire because somebody didn't like what he was doing on the council, some decision they made. In Cincinnati, there was a brawl. Dozens of people were brawling in the city of Cincinnati, and 5 people were charged. What's up with that? Nobody was killed, though. That was good. In New York City, I think it was the night before last, we had a shooter go up into an office building.
Because he was
Fortunately,
pissed at the NFL.
yeah, took the wrong elevator, got out. It wasn't the NFL headquarters, which is where he was headed, and he just started shooting. 4 people dead. I don't know if there was anybody injured, but 4 people dead. That's crazy. And then
one was an off-duty police officer.
Yes,
and one was a guard, I think.
Yeah. And just today, 4 people were killed in Montana in a bar shooting. Now,
what? I haven't watched the news today.
Bars are usually happy, you know. Like, why is somebody shooting?
Well, it depends on what kind of drunks are in there. Some drunks are mean and belligerent, you know.
Right, but they're not the ones coming in with a gun usually. But I guess it depends on the state. If it's an open carry state, I guess you can do that and whatever.
Yeah.
So does this mean that the country is just getting more and more
coming apart at the seams?
Yeah, it's coming apart at the seams, right? I mean, it's just. I
heard somebody talk today about the guy in Manhattan that was trying to get to the NFL office.
Yeah.
That they followed him. They could track his movements because New York has cameras everywhere. So they were able to track his movements where he was trucking down the road, carrying an AR-15 out in the open, bold as you please, not trying to hide it. And people just kind of were like stepping away from him, like, that guy's got a gun, you know, but nobody stopped him because it's not illegal for him to do that. And so he's literally walking around with a damn machine gun in his hand, and everybody's just like, oh, that's normal. And as soon as it happened, you had the GOP running out to the cameras talking about trying to phrase it in such a way that it wouldn't harm the Second Amendment. It's like, at this point, I think we need to take the damn Second Amendment and excise it from, you know.
I don't think New York is an open carry. New York is not open carry.
I don't know.
No, it is definitely not.
They said he was walking down the street with the AR-15 out in the open carrying it. They tracked him from camera to camera to camera. That's what I heard one of the policemen talking about.
And
the thing.
You're right. Like, so why didn't somebody do something? Because it's not.
Why didn't somebody stop him? You know,
it's not open carry. Yeah.
The guy that in New York that went to go shoot up the NFL office, but went to the wrong office.
That's crazy.
Until they actually, depending on the laws of the city or state, I mean, well,
it's New York, but they're not open carry in New York.
Well, then be careful about what it is on open carry.
Okay,
my brother. New York has very strict gun laws, but I guess they do have a new concealed gun law where you can carry a concealed weapon if it's on your person.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Remember years
ago, he wasn't doing that. He was right out in the open carrying it.
They go stand in front of mosques with guns and be intimidated by open carry, and then they made the mistake of going in front of a Nation of Islam mosque.
Okay. All right.
My brother can be a font of information sometimes.
All right. So that's that. I don't really think we have anything to read on. We just get that the United States.
I had a couple of cards pop out. Assistance, help again, and consequence, damage done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just very, very damaging. Okay. So here's another thing that's very interesting. We had really conflicting information in the news today and yesterday and this week concerning the economy. In the first place, the GDP seemed to go to 3%, which is just normal GDP growth in a normal year, right?
Yeah.
So I question whether that's true because it's under Trump. The other thing is that they revised both June and July's job reports way down. So May had come out as 144,000 jobs. And I remember in May going, really? That's like not bad. That's pretty good. Well, they revised it down to, get this, from 144K down to 14K. That's like a 90% drop. That's like, what? How were you off? And then in July, from June, the June numbers, oh no, that was the June numbers. May's were, no, let me say this again. Okay, June was 147 down to 14, horrible. And May was 144,000 down to 19. Terrible. So
yeah,
the stock market, you know, reacts to all of his stuff with the tariffs and this and that. And the stock market has been going down and up and down and up and down and up. But
the damn yo-yo.
The dollar, the US dollar, according to the news, is strong. And yet the market is super, super volatile. Now, there was another.
I don't trust the news anymore.
You gotta go. Bye-bye, kitty. A similar pattern happened to our economy, our stock market and our dollar in 1987. Does anybody remember what happened in 1987? We had Black Monday, October 19th, 1987.
Oh, yeah.
There were worldwide losses of, get this, $1.71 trillion worldwide.
Wow.
And we are
I
following.
remember it vaguely, but I didn't follow that kind of stuff back then. I was
So
I was
you know,
busy raising my kid. Yeah.
Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled that he is saying, oh, it's the best this ever. It's the greatest jobs report. And then they revise it down to like a tenth of what it was. The dollar is, I don't know if it's strong or not. We don't have very many people who are actually trading with us. I mean, according to Trump, he's made all these deals, but then the countries, as soon as he has his back turned to them, the countries are like, yeah, but we're not going to trade at all because the tariffs suck and we don't need the United States anymore. You know, that's more than one country has started to do that. So just very, very weird. So
you got China running in cleanup mode, making deals with everybody.
Yeah.
There's not going to be, even once we get all of this filth and corruption out, it's going to take decades upon decades to rebuild those trade deals, because by then China would have locked up 90% of the globe,
right,
to where everybody's going to be buying from them and they're not going to want anything from us, you know.
No. And by the time we get people in there who can reconstruct or repair those relationships, the industries will have changed, you know, because things are changing all the time. The trade routes, the supply chains, the vendors, the companies, they'll all be different.
The type of work that's done, we're not even going to have the infrastructure built and prepared to even do whatever all of these new jobs are, because it's, you know, let me hold off before I say something.
Okay. So we still haven't done very many cards, but I want to get to these last two questions are really good. We got really a lot of meat on the bone here. So Ms. Maxwell was moved to a Texas prison camp. So she went from a minimum, she was only in a minimum security prison anyway. I mean, no, she was moved to a minimum security prison, which is the prison camp, but she was only in a low security prison anyway. I mean, I think she should have been in a higher, you know, security prison, because
one would think
she may not be super violent, but she is a very dangerous criminal. She is extremely dangerous. And they're just acting like, you know, oh, you know, she cashed a few checks on the summer camp's account, you know, just like, you know, crazy. So Jamie, it is like a camp. It has a reputation of being a kind of like summer camp for those who are there. So that must mean that she is getting some kind of a deal from Dumpy,
or that they're placing her in a way that they can do away with her much easier.
Maybe.
If I was her, I
so.
would want to be in a maximum security. You got to go through 50 freaking guards to get to my cell. I mean, if that was me and I was her and did all those horrible things and knew that my head was on the chopping block. I mean, out of all those men who were the ones who did a lot of the dirty stuff, she just got them the girls.
No. She didn't though. She also participated in
some of the things,
sexual abuse. The sexual abuse.
Right.
She was a part of the, as my friend says on Secular Talk, the grape. She was a part of it.
Yeah.
So she is very dangerous. Not only that, but she was the head groomer. So she did the whole cycle from grooming to the actual act to, abusing these people repeatedly. So no, she's dangerous. She's super dangerous. So I know she has openly sought a pardon from Trump. She wants to talk to him. And I think they're letting her believe that with her cooperation that she will get something. Maybe this move on the prison is part of that. But are they going to, or are they going to, give her what she wants? That's no.
Ooh. It's holy shit. Oh, shoot.
It's Friday night,
Yeah. Two of Pentacles reversed, recklessness. She's being reckless in her desire to get out of a more secure place, thinking that going into the luxury place is going to make her happier. It's not. Then we've got the Two of Swords. So decisions being made that are very, they could be very dramatic, very important, very dangerous decisions to be made. Followed by the Tower reversed. Wow. So it's like she's got all kinds of crap coming down on her head. It may not be as bad as originally thought, but it's still all coming down. It's all coming down on her. It just doesn't matter. And then I got the Five of Pentacles, which is financial loss. That's low resources, insecurity, poverty. And that's what I'm ending up with her. And that's just with the tarot. Let me see. I got stepping down and imprisoned, detained.
So you think they're going to keep her locked up?
I do. I think that they're going to make her feel like she's got a little bit better deal. Maybe let her go to a salon and get her hair and her nails done. Or, if I was her, I damn sure wouldn't do any surgery for facelifts or anything. I'd be scared to go under the knife.
Well, at this place,
she's that I'd never come out of it.
At the prison camp, they probably have salons. She can probably get a pedicure and have.
Yeah, that's what I mean. She'll, they move her there, and she'll have access to all of the luxuries that she was used to, that she's been missing. I mean, if you look at how she looks now, as opposed to how she looked when she went in.
I haven't seen any current pictures of her.
They were showing, I'm assuming it was an accurate picture of her. Okay. That they were showing of her the other day. I saw it. All I could think of was, damn, prison really ages you.
Yeah.
She did not look like the refined English woman,
Well, she's not a refined English woman.
But that was the character that she portrayed. I mean,
exactly. It's a character. It's not her.
Yeah. Ugh. And no, she's a demon in disguise. I mean, she used the fact that she looked really well, and she spoke well, and she dressed well, and the whole presentation of what she would put out would make these young girls think, oh, wow, this is a woman. She's not going to hurt me. She's going to help me attain some of my dreams or get an education, or because most of these girls were girls that had been either kicked out or run away from home, so they were living on the streets and doing whatever they had to do to survive. And
No, they were working at Mar-a-Lago.
Well,
poor girls.
There you go.
Well,
I'm just saying that she used a lot of that character persona to make them feel safe.
mm-hmm.
That we can go with her. She's going to take care of us.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
She's going to help me get an education. She's going to help me get a better job. She's going to introduce me to these really rich people that maybe one of them will want to marry me, and then I'll be rich,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you got to think like a 15-year-old sometimes,
Mm-hmm. So, but you think they're going to keep her locked up, pretty much?
I do.
Okay.
I think they're gonna keep her locked up, but they're gonna give her room to kind of move, And just me personally, if I was her, I would be like, I don't want to be that free to move around, because that means there's other people that are going to be that free to move around me. It would be real easy to fall out of a one-story window or fall into the river when you go rafting or something, whatever they do in those kind of places.
Oh, plastic bag over the head works pretty quick.
Yeah.
Not that I've thought about it, mind you, but Okay, so I threw some cards in. I also got I think you got the 2 of Swords and the 2 of Pentacles, but
yeah.
So she is she is in a real crossroads situation, and currently, yeah, she doesn't know which side of the fence to really fall on. She doesn't know whether she should just go ahead and expose all, and talk for the victims and say their names and say all the perpetrators' names, all the men's names that were involved with this. She doesn't know which way to go, which way would give her the biggest benefit. So she's banking on Trump, because she kind of knows him, even though he hasn't been really good to her in the past. She's also a narcissist, and she thinks that she can play him. And so far she seems to be, but I would not trust that. I would not trust that at all if I were her.
Because personally, I don't think Trump is the one making the decisions on her.
Right. He is not. He is not.
He's following orders too.
Yeah. And so in the past, she had to make some pretty quick decisions. We get the 8 of Wands for her past. And also the 7 of Swords. She's just done. She knows she's guilty of a lot of bad things, but also as a narcissist, she is in denial that you've heard her. We've heard her even say there were no victims. They were not victims. These people, we helped these girls. Really? Okay. So she's really cuckoo barrel, like over the barrel crazy.
Yeah.
She is not dealing with a full deck. What crowns her is that she really believes that this move to the easier prison, she really thinks that, oh, good, I'm home free now. She really thinks that, which is what they want her to think. They want her to lower her guard, not be so feisty. Like with Congress, she's asking for all this immunity, and I want to know the questions and yada, yada. So, anyway, but I think she's actually in a very dangerous position. I think, I get the death card in her future. So something is coming to an end for her.
I had the Tower, so
she may be in a lot more danger now, I think, in the prison that she's gone to, a lot more. And the final card that I get for her is Judgment. So something is going to come out in the news, some announcement, something's going to come down that is pretty definitive about her. This does not speak about what's happening with the victims. Unfortunately, I don't think, I think things will be come out in the public for the victims. I think that they will have their day, maybe not in court, but some sort of public hearing or something. I think there will be some sort of, I mean, you can't call it justice, but at least vindication for them. And I think a lot of those old guys, you know, a lot of them are going to be near death. You know, they're not going to live to see this. But even in death, they can be called out for what they've done and put on a roster. I mean, I'm seeing something like that. That Vietnam
Family
War
fortunes
memorial.
could be destroyed.
I'm seeing something like that. Vietnam Memorial, big low wall that has all the names in it. All the names of the victims on one side, and maybe the names of the perpetrators on the other side, or something like that. But I see some sort of memorial to them that helps. That is, you know, something that says we understand. You know,
did you see the interview with one of the girls, the one that committed suicide recently?
I have
her
not.
family did an interview where her brother was talking about, and
I heard him talking a little bit, but I can't watch those. I can't.
It was hard. I mean, I sat
Really
through it
hard.
just because I wanted to know what their thinking was. And it's just, they're so angry that because of the lack of doing something about it, his sister made the choices that she made because of the pain that she was in.
Yeah.
And so he's holding all of them accountable for it. Every politician, every lawman, every judge, whatever, that just slide it down the road. We're not going to worry about that right now.
Yeah.
And there are other family members that are starting to speak up now. For these, you know, and the news that keeps calling them these underage women. No, they're children. Let's use the correct terminology. They're children. They're not underage women. They're children. You know, let's get the right verbiage in there so that the right picture is drawn. These were,
as long as we have the Trump regime in power, who is really going to bring this to be heard? What court would ever be allowed to hear it? I mean, he's got to be put down. Basically, he's got to be done away with, so that all of this stuff can begin to come out and be healed. And I mean,
and there may not be anybody that was involved in any way with that still alive by the time they finally are able to get justice like it should be.
But you know,
which is really sad when you think about it.
Those memorials go, I think they did a memorial like that for the people who died in 9/11. And I think that would be the kind of appropriate memorial. You know, they've done things like that, you know, for the victims of the Holocaust.
Yeah, didn't they do, they have like the big, like waterfall things where the original footprint of the towers were.
Yes, they do.
And you have all the names all around.
Yep.
I've seen pictures of it. It looks, it's just breathtaking to look at, you know, I mean.
Yeah. So Civ Tapper just said, interesting about a memorial. I felt and saw that for just a few hours ago. Yeah. Right. I'm thinking that the more that Kamala comes out in the public, the more I'm getting hopeful about what can happen in the future. And I think that these things, not just for this incident, I mean, this is a huge incident. I mean, he did his dirty work over decades, and now it's been decades since, you know, he was kind of stopped. Has it been? It's been a decade, I think, since they stopped him.
Yeah.
And they've got to do something. I don't know when, but I do feel like they're going to do something, because there's too many people who are left who remember, because they were children when this happened, you know, because you're right. They were children, and that's just horrible. I mean, and Jim Jordan is still walking around free too. And he's another,
it's
the same thing. And it's just horrible. Okay.
There's so many of them that just,
it seems like they get away with it, but believe me, those people, when they do get their life review, it's going to go on and on and on and on. It's going to be very long, and it's going to be very hard for them.
And really horrible. Yeah.
Really horrible. That's right. That's right.
I mean, if there is a hell, and I believe there is, but a lot of people don't, these people, that's where they're going to go. I mean, they're going to be eternally burning or whatever.
No, I don't happen to believe in hell, but their life review will be very, very long.
Yeah.
And some of them may, souls may be in need of great repair, because that's a whole other discussion. But I mean, these people have really damaged themselves by engaging in this. Okay. So the last thing that I want to talk about is still on this subject, but slightly different. Bloomberg reported this, and I looked around for other news sources to report on this, and I couldn't find it. Why? Because what they're reporting on is very old. It's very old. But they reported that DJT, and we all know I'm talking about Dumpy, and other prominent names were redacted from the Epstein documents. A long time ago, there was a FOIA team that did a final review of volumes of documents. And I didn't see a date in this article because I know it's old and they don't want to cop to the fact that they're just reporting old stuff to kind of placate the public. But this team was tasked with doing the redactions, with crossing out, Trump's name and other prominent figures. But this is old news. If you look at the AP, if you look at ERA, it doesn't come up in, it only came up, I think, in maybe ground news from Bloomberg. And I don't get a lot of stories from Bloomberg in that. But so does Dumpy really think that he can get away with this by just having his name redacted? I mean, is that going to work?
Yes.
Is that going to work? Because remember, is he even going to let this come to be heard in a court of law? No, not while he's around.
No, he's not.
No.
It's not going to come out until after he's out of there.
Under the ground. Until he's in the ground, I think.
Yeah.
So when he is crossed over, will the real paper come out?
I just pulled for Money and Power and then Bottomless Money Pit.
That's why it can't come out until he's really gone.
Yeah, because it's all about the money with him.
Because even if he is so far gone that he can't pull the strings, there's always Stephen Miller or somebody like him, Walt Nauta.
Well, there are others, that are complicit in what was happening, and we're probably on the list, so to speak. We're in the videos. I've heard people say that there are even Supreme Court justices that are.
I wouldn't be surprised if most of his cabinet was in there. I wouldn't be surprised if most of the cabinet was in there. Because you got to wonder, why did he pick these people when they're so clearly not qualified for those? Why? There's got to be some reason.
Disaster, wreckage. Prepare and stock up. So
everybody's saying that. They're saying that the stuff that he's planning on is just going to wreck the economy.
He is so blatantly just right out in the open doing everything he can to destroy this country.
Yeah. And
it's like, how can nobody else see it?
Oh, they see it. They don't care. The MAGAs are in denial.
Not realize that
they're in denial, or they're covering it up themselves.
Yeah. Or they live in that elitist headspace where, well, it's not going to pertain to me because nothing pertains to me unless I want it to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. All right. Oh, God. These cards are horrible. These cards are horrible. Yeah, well, it comes out the same as what I said. After he's in the ground, then there'll be some sort of a thing. Let's end on something happy, Sherry. Let's do some
Yeah,
happy cards, because this is just so bad.
that's a good one.
This is really bad. Let's read on.
Talk about our Lotus.
Yes, yeah, that's what I was just saying. Yes, let's read on her. So
I
what
think her book is out now. I got to go and order it. I don't want to read that.
book is out? He's in the news. What is coming forward for Lotus?
What gave me chills was the interview with Stephen Colbert when he asked her, you're not running for public office right now, and she was like, no. She's like, the system is broken. She says, and I need to be in a position where I've been able to go around the country and talk to the people as just another person, not as somebody running for office, not as somebody in office, not just person to person, and talk to people and find out what they're feeling, what they're thinking, what do they think needs to be done to clean up this mess. And then I think she's going to run for president.
I don't think she's going to have to run for president.
No, that's true. She may not have to.
She was already voted in overwhelmingly.
Yeah. And that's just real quick. Y'all call your local legislators and senators and whatnot and demand that they do recounts. You have, what is it, 2 or 3 different organizations? You've got
Election Truth Alliance.
Election Truth Alliance. There's 2 more of them out there. Mm-hmm. Same kind of people. They've got these forensic computer experts that are pulling up in different areas of the country where they're looking, and they're getting identical information of the deceit and the fraud, and to the point that they're like picking up the phone and calling each other and saying, hey, we just found this out. Are you getting this information? To be told, yeah, we just found that too.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got legislators, senators that are not taking a meeting with these people, refusing to meet with them, refusing to do something about it. And I think that's where we, the people, are going to really come in handy, is we need to start demanding that they listen to these people and they do something, because we want our Lotus POTUS.
All of that is going to be coming to the forefront. All of that is bubbling up to the surface. It really is happening. So this is what I got. So we get the Princess of Hearts, which is like the Page of Cups. So there is going to be some more surprising news coming out about something about her or the election or something. And this is crossed by the Strength card. So what this means to me is, yeah, she's a very strong person. But another meaning of the Strength card is that you are being forced to do something that you never believed that you could do, that you never imagined that you would be asked to do. And obviously that is the situation that she's in. Yeah. Who would ever have imagined that she would be, anybody that ran for office would be in this situation? And the card beneath it is, the Wheel of Fortune. In a heartbeat on November 5th, her world just changed. It just changed. It was going, seemed great. And then all of a sudden, it just, boom, the wheel took a big 180. And because it was stolen. In the past, we have the Two of Wands. She had a lot of big decisions to make, and it was hard for her to make those decisions because it wasn't what was in her heart. In her heart, she wanted to fight. In her heart, she wanted to do recounts. In her heart, she wanted to jump up and down and yell and say, no, I know that didn't happen. Those numbers are just crazy. They're off. But Joe Biden and other people around her were like, hey, we got to turn the temperature down. We can't have a civil war, yada, yada. We've already talked about this ad nauseum, so I'm not going to repeat the whole thing. Go watch some of my old videos, or even the one from Wednesday or last week or Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm saying it all the time.
Yeah.
So what crowns her is her viewpoint of what she thinks will happen is that she is going to have great support. I get the King of Swords up there. I feel like that's Doug.
Mhm.
You know, she's getting tremendous support, and she's very happy about that. And the next thing that is going to, we might not know this, the next thing that happens, because she still has to be incredibly careful. She is still threatened by the regime. You know, they're talking about arresting Obama, Biden, her. I mean, and not just arresting, but there are death threats out there. I mean, it's just not super safe for her all over the place. But we have the Eight of Pentacles. So she is going to be very, very studious. She's going to be looking at this stuff, analyzing it, going over numbers, going over the political climate, everything that's going on. And she knows that people are going to judge her actions. They've already judged her words. They're going to judge her book. They're going to judge all this stuff about her. But she feels that she needs to do it because she's up against the devil. She's up against the worst evil that you can imagine. She knows also that she has a great deal of support in this country because she knows what the numbers are now. She has heard from Election Truth Alliance and many others that according to them, as close as they can figure, she probably won like 2/3, 3/4 of all the votes in the country.
In the country, yeah.
And the final outcome is temperance for her. So it's not time yet for her to come out strong. It is time for her to begin putting droplets of information into the American public ear so that they know that she is doing something really smart, really logical, really legal, and probably profoundly effective in changing the tenor, changing the climate emotionally and politically for people in the country so that they can accept that this cannot go on. So I think it's really great that she's coming back into the public eye. I think it's just amazing.
Well, I know when it all came down, when it all first happened, and like within the first couple of weeks, and everybody was like, why isn't she saying something? Why isn't she fighting? Why isn't she? And I kept getting the message that this was someone who was deeply, deeply wounded, not just by how they stole it from her, but by the fact that those on her side were there saying, don't rock the boat, don't do this, we're going to have to let this play out. And that had to have been unbelievably difficult for her to do because that is not her way of being. You know, she's a fighter. She gets out there.
But don't forget also, there were lots of people who immediately started saying, well, she couldn't have done it because she didn't do this in her campaign, or she didn't reach out about this issue, or she didn't have this. Immediately, they started to criticize her campaign and her message. And that was total bullshit. That's another thing that hurt her, that they would criticize her like that publicly when it was so clearly false, when that just wasn't anything to do with it. So
exactly. Yeah. And that's where that wounding came from.
Yeah.
Very wounded. And she admitted when she was on Colbert the other night, and she was saying, you know, he made a comment, something or other about, you know, I'm sure you were hurt by all of this. And she said, oh, deeply. She said, it took a while for me to work my way through it just to be able to come out the other side and see with clearer eyes exactly what happened, or something like that. That's how she phrased it. And I thought, that's exactly what I was getting at the time. And I'm still, I mean, when she was on the show and I, you know, and I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, she's not done fighting yet. She just has had to take a step back, because now she has to reevaluate everyone on either side. Everyone, because she got attacked from both sides for something that she did not do. And it was, I mean, that in and of itself would have been hurtful, but then to pile on all the other crap on top of it, it's like, yeah, that was, well, I started out with a 7 of Cups reversed, which is, confusion, not being able to determine your best course of action. That's where that wounding came from. She had to work through the wounding in order to start thinking clearly about what's my next step. And she had to work with the fact that despite all of that, she was still under death threat. Her husband was under death threat. Her children were under death threats. That's horrifying to think about. You can't even repair your own hurts because you're having to make sure they're protected. And the people that are supposed to be protecting you are the bad guys. How difficult it's, I just can't imagine. And then I pull the 4 of Swords. So that's a lot of that contemplation time. She just took time to sit down, work through. I mean, she had to do a lot of mirror work herself, of looking herself in the mirror and saying, first off, where did I go wrong? And then to come to the conclusion that I did not do anything wrong, but there were people on both sides that were against me and wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to happen. Then I pull the 4 of Wands. So here we're looking at some celebration, a little bit of community. People were so excited when she came out on Steven's show the other night. The audience was just electric. You could feel that vibe. And I'm sure that probably did more to heal her soul than a lot of other things, was the reaction of the audience when she came out. I mean, it was truly overwhelming. And then I ended up with the 2 of Swords. Again, we're coming down to, there are tough decisions coming up that she's going to make. And yeah, I think that once they do what needs to be done to get this mess out of there, she's going to be able to walk right in and say, okay, this is what we're doing now. This is how we're going to do it. Because she's just the person to do that, Just like
she is.
Barack Obama brought in that overwhelming multitude of hope that we had for ourselves and our country. She's bringing in the justice where people are going to look at her and say, yes, she's going to clean this up. They're going to see her as she's the one that's going to clean up this mess. And she's the only one that can clean it up.
And before she can go in and clean it up, we need to get rid of the dumpster. We need to take control of the government, get rid of all of the henchmen, and figure out how we're going to rewrite the laws and the Constitution, get that process started, then slap her into office and let her start doing her thing. But that all is going to take some time.
And part of the justice part is going to be cleaning up the court.
Yeah, that's right. Sure, absolutely, that's right. The court is the court is kind of an obvious one. I won't say it's the easy one, but I think that's something they can do right away because it's so focused. There's just the set number of individuals. It's clear they're the ones who are corrupt and obviously have been not acting in the interest of the American people. It's clear that they just shouldn't be there. It's clear that Ketanji Brown Jackson should take over as the Chief Justice. Just no brainer.
Oh God, yes,
No
she
brainer.
would
Just
be
put her in.
so awesome at that.
Yeah, and Sotomayor really wants to retire. Let the woman retire, and then rebuild the court with a lot of women. All women, I say, just all women.
Well, I saw an interview once with RBG, and they were asking her, well, how many women do you think would be enough to be fair for the court? And she said, all.
Yeah.
And the response from everybody, the interviewer and the other people that were guests, were shocked. Oh, you mean all women? She says, we've had all men. Why can't we have all women?
Yeah, let's try it. Let's try it.
You know,
and just see what happens.
Let's get the boys out of the sandbox and go put them in the tub to bathe for a while we come in and clean up the mess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Basically been the role of most women, most of our
that's right. We're
decades and eons.
We shouldn't have to do it all the time. We should be able to do what we are trained for, and what we love to do, and what we're good at, what we're really, really exceptional at, and allow us to shine and to, take our due where it's due. Take the respect that we deserve. So so that was good. So
yeah, good. Once I watched her the other night with Stephen, I was so hopeful after that. It really restored my faith in, we're going to get out of this. It's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be fast. But boy, once we get that done, and it's going to be phenomenal. I'm having trouble finding the right words to use to express how I felt. It was that overpowering. Mm-hmm. But she made a point of of letting the audience and Stephen know that she's not out of it. He was like, well, it take you a while to kind of catch up on everything. She says, I know what's going on. I'm fully aware of everything. It's like, oh yeah, she's got her finger in that pie.
Oh yeah.
And there's somebody somewhere in that higher upper echelon that is dutifully reporting to her and letting her know exactly what's being done.
And I'm going to watch it as soon as we get done here. But I just have, I'm just guessing that they did not speak about why she had to cancel her vacation plans recently.
There were several things he asked her that she didn't answer,
mm-hmm.
where she just said, well, it's kind of in the book.
Mm-hmm. And also, I'm going to say, very soon you're going to start seeing Tim Walsh in the public eye as well, in the national.
We already have been.
Well, we have, but I think a lot more.
It's going to be on a different level. It's not going to be him just fighting as governor.
Nope, it's going to be the national level. That's how you're going to see him, is doing things on a national level. That's what I say. Because the two of them came up in my reading a little over a week, about 10 days ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And I went, they're coming back, because they are.
Yeah.
Well, Sherry, we've been on for a little over an hour, and it's not a school night.
It went fast.
It really went fast. It always goes fast when we're talking about this stuff. And I want to thank you for being here with me. And
you're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, well, we're not exactly a gang, but I think we do all right with the readings, I think.
That's right. We're the unstoppable duo.
That's right. And I want to thank everybody for being here in the chat. I know I did not go over your questions much, but some of the things that you were asking about were topics that we covered. And I do like once in a while just having a show where we do a discussion about what's going on, because it isn't always about doing the cards. A lot of it is just connecting with what's in the energy, what's in the zeitgeist, and what's going on with that. And I think that's really important to understand.
I did a political reading yesterday. It was like a weird, energetic morning for me yesterday, and it was like something didn't feel. It was just weird. And when I went to lunch, and I thought, you know what, let's throw some cards on this and see. And when I did, and I was like, so I grabbed the phone and I did a little impromptu fly by the seat of my pants reading and then posted it. And I got a lot of people responding saying, yeah, I've been feeling that too for the last day or two. So it's like,
Mhm.
I'm not the only one that's been feeling that weird energy floating around. So
That's right. That's right. Well, we got a full moon coming up here in Aquarius in about 10 days. And we've got, the end of Mercury retrograde very on the heels of that, just after that. So things will be changing there. We've got Mars changing. I think it's Mars changing signs. And that's going to be a big change in energy. And then
there's a lot of planetary activity that's been going on.
Well, you had some of the bigger planets changing signs from the very beginning of the summer to now, and that is a big shift because that's the whole energy and character of that planet operating in a whole different sign. So going from like Taurus to Gemini, very different energy. So that's why things.
Because I don't really understand it, but I've heard a lot of astrologists that have been talking about it, but all the movement of major planet movements and stuff.
Yeah.
How it's changing, because a lot of this, it takes years and years and years for this stuff to go around again, and it's like,
yep, it does.
Okay, wow, that
explains. Maybe I'll talk about astrology on Sunday. Maybe that's what I'll talk about, because there has been an awful lot of what's been happening and what's coming up, because we have eclipses coming up in September, and that's always big stuff. So maybe that's what I'll do on Sunday if I can.
That's true.
Okay, so we're going to sign off now, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us. Don't forget to subscribe to Sherry's channel. Make sure you're still subscribed to my channel. Well, if you're doing stuff in the comments, then you're subscribed, because only subscribers can be in the comments.
That's how mine's set up too.
So be sure to share and like. The thumbs up really happens. Really helps, rather. And I'm trying to do shorts out of the videos that we do here. Sometimes they don't come out really well the way they make the way the shorts are generated. So sometimes I don't post them because they're just kind of like, meh.
Some I use, some I don't.
Right? Yeah, that's it.
But it's a handy little tool that StreamYard now has given us to use.
Yeah, it's like, really good. And
like that really helps. So
I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody.
Oh, another new member.
Oh my
Terry
gosh.
Mullins just joined.
Terry. Well, shut my mouth.
That's 2 new members tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to have to do a members meeting then. All right. So thank you.
I've got one coming up in a couple of weeks. So I'm doing one on the 16th. Our next members meeting. So.
All right. So hang in there, everybody. I'm going to go watch the interview of Kamala and Stephen Colbert. Thanks for telling me about it. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for playing PoliTarology. Bye.
Bye, everybody.